Everyone, it's 4:30, it's Friday, and this is the Entrepreneur Drinks Podcast. We hope that everyone had a great week, so let's all have a beer or a cash flow cocktail and talk about business, being an entrepreneur, and making money. Hopefully we can help each other solve some problems and learn how to grow our businesses. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy the show and learn some things along the way. It's time to crack open a drink and get started. Let the conversation begin.
They fixed it. He's the I'm the tech guy, Harry. Woo. All right, we are live.
Have a drink.
Happy Entrepreneur Drinks 420 episode.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Coffee.
Cheers, guys.
Coffee cup.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Happy to have you, man.
Thank you for having me on.
I'm Dave.
There you go.
Hey, Dave. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, buddy. How do you know Jimmy and Bob?
Well, we crossed our paths in the ninja sphere through real estate and investing and some infinite banking. So yeah, no, it's been a blast getting to meet them and know them and looking forward to grow our businesses together. So
Hell yeah.
So should I introduce the show?
Yeah, introduce the show, Jim.
Okay.
There you go.
So microphone's up there, by the way, so we want to kind of face that.
I'm just mixing my cash flow cocktail of the episode. So Ninja, on this podcast, what we do is we get entrepreneurs on and we introduce them, we talk about what's going on with them, any choke points they have in their business. We have a few drinks and we see if we can loosen up those choke points.
well, I love the concept, though. Yeah, I love the concept. What you guys are doing. That's where I've learned some of the best stuff is just sitting down and having a cocktail or a beer or a glass of wine with a fellow traveler and sharing it. So this is a pretty cool concept what you guys have and a great show. So honored to be on it.
We're happy to have you.
And so we know the Ninja. We're cyber friends. We originally heard you on Joe Fearless's podcast. And then
we met in like a chat room or something like that.
Chat roulette.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you sell our favorite thing in the investing sphere, which is life insurance, which no one else understands or believes. But
That's
I basically
right.
called you up and said, hey, I use it. Can I be on the show? And you're like, yeah.
No, absolutely. Because usually, I mean, we do it obviously a little bit different and we see the value and the power of it. But life insurance, of course, you're not the most sought after guy at any cocktail party. I can tell you that. And usually in the media, I mean, you feel sorry for the guy that's selling life insurance on a movie, right? And everybody's always making fun of him or on a TV show. So, but it usually is because there's not a lot of knowledge base around it and how powerful it is. And especially the way that we use it in our businesses. And what I appreciate from you guys is, you walk the walk and you talk the talk. You live what you're doing every day and what you're preaching. And I try to do the same thing. So I think there was definitely a connection there. And obviously I've seen of what you guys are doing and how you guys are trying to grow your business and look at places that you're expanding. And I'm just trying to learn as much as I can always from everybody that I come across. So it's been really cool to see how you guys have grown your business and your footprint and spreading the message of what you guys are doing. So that's been pretty cool to see too.
Well, thanks for the touchy-feely shit. Let's back up a second. And why don't you introduce yourself to our audience, what you do and whatnot, and what are you drinking, by the way?
I'm having the drink that conquered the world. I'm having a gin and tonic, and I'm actually having Blue Coat gin and tonic. Blue Coat is actually a local distillery out here in Newtown, Pennsylvania, where I find myself. So
that's the show notes.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool area that I'm in. So let me start from the beginning. So I'm originally from South Africa. It's not a New Jersey accent. And I grew up in South Africa, went to university there, school there. All of my friends and family still there, except my sister. She's actually in Australia. Came and I played in a national rugby league here. It was the U.S. Super League. Up until 2007, I played for a team out in Chicago called the Chicago Lions, and through that, that's kind of where I started my journey. Sorry, go ahead.
What position were you?
I was an open side flanker and an eighth man, so I was in a pack of forwards.
So were you? Yes.
How would I describe that? In football terms, it's kind of like a cross between a linebacker and like a fullback. So a lot of tackling in my position. That's something that I enjoy to do. A lot of the defensive stuff, and then also offensive stuff. But not one of the fast guys. My job was to get the ball to them.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, keep going. Well, yeah. So from there on, I mean, my investment and entrepreneurial journeys kind of started in Chicago, working for a private real estate investor. Learned a lot. I wasn't smart enough to figure out I have to find a mentor. Let's be honest. That was blind luck. Kind of learned the business from the ground up, studied what these guys were doing. And through this private, and I started from painting apartments, doing maintenance, picking up the trash, turning over apartments, eventually doing leasing, negotiating leases, property management, doing the books. Every single role there was, I basically did, to eventually getting a broker's license, getting on the acquisitions teams, seeing how these guys negotiate deals, what they're looking for. They were buying up a big part of the north side of Chicago in the city. So, obviously, it was quite a baptism of fire because it's such a landlord-friendly state with very low taxes too, Illinois, which.
That's sarcasm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so learned a lot there.
Nice.
Long story short, so my wife is from the Philadelphia area where she grew up. So I live not too far from Philadelphia. I'm about an hour away from New York City, just inside the Pennsylvania area, which is pretty cool. Washington Crossing is not too far from me, where George Washington crossed the Delaware River to march on Trenton, and introduced through a mutual friend.
How'd you meet your wife?
You guys didn't
Was
meet
she
in a
just like,
chat
I
room?
gotta find the rugby guys? Like,
You guys didn't meet in a chat room like you met these two clowns, right?
No. Introduced through mutual friends. So, but yeah, it's a pretty cool area. Obviously, the blue coats spin on the revolution. Very historic area. Love living out here. And my business is all over the United States. And obviously with the podcast, I'm trying to expand all over the place. I think we're in 150 countries now. So, but mainly focus in the States. And I think you were talking about challenges as far as entrepreneurial challenges. I think for me personally, and I know if you guys have found it too, is how can I say? I'm growing organically, but I'm trying to bring on other parties into my organization. And, you get to a point where you have to do that. I try to be as lean as mean as I can, but I think it's also another mindset shift of letting go of certain parts of your business, right? So I think that was one of the bottlenecks, because sometimes I'm a little bit, still not hesitant to let go. I like to empower other people, but it's that's kind of the where I'm at, expanding right now. And one of the challenges that I'm facing is just letting a big part of what I've been doing and what I've been involved with just go and empower someone else with it.
how big's your team?
It's all virtual. So right now I have about 3 or 4 people that are basically working, spending most of their time working on my projects. I'm trying to build a virtual organization. And as far as bringing on people in-house in Valhalla, that's been the challenge too for me, because, Jimmy and Bob, you guys know about the infinite banking, so it takes a different type of advisor to get involved with that. So you got to have the mindset and the philosophy in place and all that stuff. So always actively recruiting people for that, but that's kind of I'm at the point of bringing on a couple of people in-house for doing that, which I always thought I was going to keep out of house, outside of my organization. But I see the value of bringing them in as well.
So, what's your unique ability? What do you do best? And I would have to say it has something to do with the podcast and social media.
Yeah, this is a change for me. I really have a face for radio. So I enjoy doing the podcast. And I think the marketing side of it is a little bit of my strong suit, getting the message out there, communicating. I spend a lot of time learning how to communicate better and spreading the message in social media. So Twitter, Instagram was two platforms that I focused on until I did it pretty well. So looking at other ways to expand it, I haven't fully figured out the YouTube thing or the Facebook thing yet. That's on the back burner. But I think that's one of my unique abilities.
You're live right now. Yeah, you figured it out. You're on live, man.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, no. So I think that part of it is communicating and sharing what we're doing.
Gotcha.
That is good.
He's you should talk to Bob. He's a Facebook marketing wizard.
Is that where you guys are getting most of your things done, on Facebook, or where do you find yourself getting the most traction on what platform?
For our lease option tenant buyers, when we're trying to fill a property, it's Facebook primarily. And the reason is because you can get so dialed in as far as demographics and behaviors. And, we can pick a house and draw like a 5-mile radius around it and say, hey, if you're looking for a rent-to-own home in this area, check this one out. And then we can go through and we can filter out real estate agent, everybody who's a real estate investor, everybody who has anything to do with real estate. So we're not talking industry people, we're talking direct to the end buyer. And we can also categorize behavior levels and say, one of the behaviors we talk about. So I think they pulled the data from Zillow. Somebody's looking for a home recently, and that flags them as likely to move. We can flag people who are current homeowners, current renters. Yeah, it's insane how targeted you can get in as far as, age, everything else. And it's working really well for us. The other cool thing about Facebook is you can do retargeting. So if someone visits your website, you can put a little what's called a pixel on tracks them, and then you can re-show an ad to that person over and over and over again. So we know, hey, someone's hit our website in the past week, they're pretty hot prospects. We can retarget those people and say, and show them an ad again.
Yeah, no, the targeting features are phenomenal. I mean, I've played around with some Facebook ads and just looking at that, just because there's a couple of guys, like I see Russell Brunson's having a lot of success with that in the marketing sphere. I see Mike Dillard is another guy that I follow pretty just focusing on and looking at what he's doing. He's using a lot of Facebook ads. He is a guy that runs everything for him. He's actually in the Midwest somewhere too. But I mean, he's a Facebook ad ninja. Yeah, he's a Facebook ad ninja, that guy. So, but it is very, very cool to see that.
So Ninja, what I kind of wanted to talk about today too was your concept of the whole new economy. I'm like
you have a topic?
Yeah, I'm a drink and a half in. You introduce the subject, and then I think I'm lucid enough to start popping off.
We will end the live recording shortly. Live recording may end.
Yeah, the new economy is pretty remarkable. The stuff that's going on because of the internet and social media platforms. So I think especially the cool thing is that In the past, where you had to find your tribe, right? You had to find it locally in the town that you're in or in the area that you're in. But now you can find people that are like-minded, that are not to get to Ayn Rand on you, but the producers that are out there in the world and trying to add value and build businesses and create value for other people. So there's no excuse not to find them. You're going to find them, and those people have a worldview of abundance. So it isn't just the competition part of it anymore, but the collaboration of being on the same path together and trying to grow this pie as big as we possibly can. Then nobody, you're not going to need to compete because there's so much business out there for everyone. And it's been pretty cool to come across people with the same mindset of doing it and connecting. And that's kind of like what I love about this new economy, and systems being created outside of these obsolete, really, really crappy systems. Central banking. Let's just touch on that, and I'm sure this will get Jimmy going.
Uh-oh.
But
Pandora's box has been opened.
yeah, but I mean, look at
I'm with you.
look at the blockchain stuff and all the other stuff. I mean, does it stick? We don't know. The internet's only 20 years old. I mean, just over 22. So the stuff that we're going to see coming up and the creative stuff that people are going to get into, there's going to be a new way that people exchange value with each other, money. I mean, because that's always happened, right? You can't really go inside of a horrible system or a swamp or a cesspool and necessarily try and change it. You've got to build a system outside of that eventually make the current crappy system obsolete. And I think everywhere people are doing it. I mean, look at Uber, look at Airbnb, all of these companies that have come up in the blockchain technology sphere. The stuff that's going on there, I don't even understand half of it, and I'm excited already. So to see the stuff that's going on there, it's kind of nuts.
Explain a little bit about the blockchain, folks.
I'm sorry?
Play blockchain.
Blockchain for listeners.
Yeah, so the cool thing about Bitcoin is many different things. Bitcoin is not only a currency and a medium of exchange or money, but what came with Bitcoin was this network, and what's in this network is what's called a blockchain, what it's built on. So anyway, so the blockchain is basically a ledger and recording of transactions. So say, for instance, all of us go out and have a couple of drinks, and, we exchange, let's say we do business with each other while we're having drinks, right? And we all basically pay each other back and forth. Well, somebody's got to record what happens at the end of the day to basically settle what money moves which direction. And that's the blockchain, and that's where miners. That might be another term that your viewers and listeners might have heard of too. When they're mining Bitcoin, miners organize these transactions on a chain and then market complete, and then they earn Bitcoin that way. So the technology is basically a ledger, but it basically the blockchain technology is now going into different spheres and being finding different uses for it. For instance, real estate transactions could be recorded electronically on a blockchain. So, I won't even touch on smart contracts because that's another evolving concept now within the sphere where everything is electronically coded. You and I have a contract to do business. It's electronically coded. There's bank accounts linked to it already. And as we're doing transactions, there's obviously a middleman that verifies this, and then money moves back and forth within the smart contract on a blockchain that's then being filed. But I mean, the sky's the limit on this. Medical data, properties, legal. I mean, just think about it. You're not going to need a ton of lawyers anymore, especially in businesses, because if these smart contracts are coded, money's just going to flow one way or another when people complete and do what they say that they're going to do in business, which is what it's all about, right?
So, hey, funny story about miners. Whenever really new, I had 2 mining
Of
machines
course you did.
in my
Of course
closet
this
at
You
is-
are
my
a hustler,
house.
David. I love you.
And I invested about 15 grand into Bitcoin, and then I bought a smaller coin called Litecoin.
Mm-hmm.
And Litecoin went from about $4 to about $38 in a matter of about 3 weeks. It was Thanksgiving about 3 years ago. Made about 40 grand in 3 weeks. I sold it, the money into like 6 or 7 more mining machines. And I had them in my buddy's basements and all over town. And the rate of additional mining machines that hit the market over that time just spent like crazy. And we were literally seeing our profits. Because you join these pools as miners. We were literally seeing our profits get cut in half week by week by week, to where we were making $1,500 a week the first week, and then it went to $750, then it went to $300, and then it was like $150. I had 35 grand invested in these computers. Yeah. And luckily I had paid Micro Center the $400 thing to build these to return all that shit. But I'm pretty familiar with the whole blockchain, the miners, and the network. And
Where did you end up?
oh, I lost all that money. I'm sure it was gone. But it's pretty fascinating though, because there's some awesome technologies out there that are based on the blockchain, and it's going to revolutionize the entire world. So I'm reading a book right now called The Inevitable by Kevin Kelly. And he talks
Kevin Kelly, yeah.
Kevin Kelly. He talks a lot about machines and blockchains and technology. And I think the basic principle of what he's saying, it goes a lot with what you were saying earlier. You know, the internet's only 20, 25 years old. And the internet has shifted already 2 or 3 times from what we originally thought it was going to be. And people that are reluctant to get into the internet business, you know, putting their business on the internet, are really making a major mistake, because if you look back, you know, let's say that we jump ahead to like 2030, 2050, the year, and we look back, people that are going to have made the most money are going to be getting into the internet in 2016, 2018, 2020. You know,
There's an interesting.
it's pretty amazing, but it's a great book.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's called The Inevitable. You can download it on Audible, and that's what I do. Listen to it. I'm at the park.
Another great book is Abundance by Peter Diamandis. And in this book, he talks about 3 billion humans who have never accessed the internet from like 2020 are coming online. So imagine half the world's population has never been on the internet and is about to discover the internet, and like what that's going to do, what innovation is going to happen, what just like crossbreeding of ideas is gonna come about from that.
Have you read Abundance Ninja?
Yeah, I actually did that one through Audible. It's awesome. So I listened to it. I didn't read it, but it's a great book. Sorry.
But he talked about Africa as a huge.
We're sure trying to put drones over there to broadcast it, because it's so spread out. Putting little sites everywhere is not a good business plan.
But one
we can have a
interesting
drone at
thing is
60,000 feet,
so
broadcasting 100 miles.
The old internet.
I don't know what country it is, but there's a cell phone network. It's called M-Pesa, and they developed basically currency over cell phones.
Right.
So if you have a bottle of water, I can transfer currency via cell phone to you.
Well, it's deregulating it too. It's
digital.
It's digital.
But what I don't understand about the digital is, like, granted, we all agree fiat paper is bullshit, right?
Right.
But you have the belief that there's a big army of Americans who will shoot you in the face if you don't take my currency. And that's what the kind of Romans dealt with.
Yeah, fiat by decree, right?
It's a fiat currency.
1971.
Right. They got off the gold standard.
Right.
I would like the blockchain shit, and I would like Bitcoin if it was backed by gold.
I think eventually they'll have that.
Well,
Why
that's
couldn't you
the
do a
whole.
blockchain backed by a metal?
No.
You're not a miner. You don't understand.
You don't understand. No, you don't want it backed by gold. You want it backed by.
Your new nickname's a 49er.
Call me the 49er. I'm the one selling jeans now. But you don't want it backed by gold. You want it backed by scarcity. Because they can
Why
mine
are
more
these-
gold.
Why are these
But
digital
Bitcoin is
blockchains
scarce. There's 21
It is
million
scarce, but
coins,
hold on.
and they're still coming out, but it's limited.
Yeah.
At one point in time, there will be no more.
Great. I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
No, some
Bitcoin,
bureaucrat will do
Litecoin,
it.
Darkcoin. How many other coins?
I can
come out?
create a coin.
You can create a
It's not that hard. to
49
do.
Bitcoin.
Mike Coin.
Right. Right.
No, 49.
But
Oh,
it's all about. It doesn't matter though. You
Yeah,
guys are
no,
getting
I
off
know, I
topic.
get it.
What
It's
matters is the
scarcity.
blockchain. So I made a killing in Litecoin in 3 weeks. I blew it on miners because I thought that Bitcoin was going to be where it's at, and it's still great. But it's the chain that has the value, not the currency. You use the currency as like grease for the machine.
Don't understand it at all.
Well,
Yeah,
I just
the-
invited Mr. Mike Bomarito on,
Yeah,
and he's going to come on in a minute, and he's going to explain it to everybody.
All right.
Mike was the guy that was on the first episode. Remember?
Yeah, that guy was cool.
I love Mike.
He's coming on in a minute.
Right.
So
Yeah, and I think
Ninja, you got any thoughts on what they just said?
Yeah, and I think to your point, look, I mean, the internet is what 20 something years old. How these cryptocurrencies? What was that? 2008. 2008. When was
yeah,
the
a couple
the
years
Bitcoin?
ago.
Yeah, so I mean, so just to put it into context, right? This space is the wild, wild west, and there's going to be a MySpace. Let's be honest. Just like with social media, one of these coins or one of these things, or there's probably going to be like 2 or 3 really good ones, and then there's going to be a couple that bomb. Like a MySpace. Nobody talks about MySpace
And you
anymore.
know what? There's a ton of coins out there right now that you can buy. There's like Ethereum, there's Litecoin, there's Peercoin. I mean, I could probably name 10 of them.
Yeah,
But there's
Dash.
probably hundreds of them out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Bitcoin-
Dash.
Bitcoin was just the original coin.
I just interviewed
Can I follow
Amanda
up
B.
with a
Johnson from Dash, and she explained what was going on just with that.
Oh, Ray.
Dash?
Yeah, I did an
MySpace
entire
is still a
episode.
thing, guys.
MySpace.
Still alive? It's still alive?
You serious?
MySpace?
Look it up.
They still have their website out?
Oh, that is hilarious.
Can I still access my 2006 profile?
I don't know if you want to
Look
see
him
that.
up.
What's your password?
Yeah.
We're gonna start broadcasting a MySpace live
Yeah, we're in
effective next week.
Is anybody gonna watch it though?
Ninja, do you know who Robert Morris was?
That's pretty funny.
Robert Morris, yeah,
MySpace
one of the
is big.
financiers in the revolution.
Right. So there's a great book. I'm 3 drinks deep, and I don't remember the name of it, but it's a biography of Robert Morris, right?
Yeah,
But he funded the American Revolution, and Robert Morris, they had to pay the soldiers based on his credit, right?
yeah,
So before the Federal Reserve, you would have notes from like Jimmy's Bank and the 49er Bank, and the currency would fluctuate based on the faith and trust in these decentralized banks, right?
hmm
So I do think the cryptocurrency, that's how, I think we're spoiled to think that there's one central bank that we all trade with. So I do think everybody should read the Robert Morris biography and realize that people used to trade with all kinds of different,
I like that.
right, all
Great
kinch of
point.
different
Health.
currency.
Right.
Yeah.
And now,
Yeah,
and then it went to
Will they take
paper
notes?
money with gold standard, and now it's off. Now it's big.
They would take hand
Those
jobs
websites
from
that you trade.
Grandma Bartle.
Hand jobs.
Back in the day, that was a long time ago.
I don't think they pay much for it though. Maybe a couple of doses.
This guy's getting out of line.
Yeah.
He didn't take off the lab.
But I do think we are a little spoiled to think that there's one central bank that offers a fiat currency around the world.
yeah, and I mean that all started with I mean it's a centralization of power, right? In countries and now in the world, and yeah, like to your point, people used to trade in many different ways and have many different currencies. And I think what's happening too, staying on the topic of the new economy, that's another thing too. Everybody has their own currency. It's not necessarily money too. Everybody has different things that make them tick, right? So many people, to try and figure out why people are doing certain things, will also help you expand your business and the network, and have you provide value for these other producers that are out there and trying to do the same thing, push it forward and create value for other people. So no, it's very, very true what you're saying. And still, I mean, like we're saying, the system without the system, there is still, I find that, coming from South Africa, and I've traveled to a couple of third world countries in my life, a big thing is always the black market in those countries. So if you're looking to exchange money, for instance, if you're just going to go to a currency exchange, you're not going to find the true value of what's really going on in the country. And Jim Rogers actually wrote about it really well in all of his books through his travels in this country. And it's one of the first things that he would actually do when he gets to a new country, is to go out and to figure out in the black market and try and exchange money to really figure out what was going on. So also this new thing of a new economy or a different system existing outside of it, this forced system isn't a new concept at all. And it's going to continue. And the more they're going to force people to do one thing, the more people are just going to want to do the other thing, right? So it's going to be, I mean, we're in for a ride. It's very interesting, but it's very, very exciting. So look at the stuff that they're coming up with now. I mean, geez, and like Snapchat, for instance. Someone was saying, I was listening, I don't remember who said this, but someone was saying, yeah, there's all these platforms and it's really cool. I don't know what to create next. And the other person, it might have been Gary Vaynerchuk, was saying to him, took the internet,
Love Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, I love Gary V. But yeah, I mean, 20 something years for Snapchat to come around. And as you guys were saying earlier, that it just keeps taking another turn, the internet, in a different direction. So who knows where this is going to be in 10 years? It's going to be pretty exciting to see where it's at, and what we'll be doing then, and where we would be sharing this live then, right?
I'll put my money on 49er coin.
I mean, I think I'll sum it up. You keep your head on a swivel and don't listen to fucking bureaucrats.
There you go.
That's at the end of the day.
Keep your head on a swivel.
Hey, did they say keep your head on a swivel in rugby?
No, not quite, but I have heard that before. But no, it's true to what you're saying. I mean, it's there are people that provide products and goods and services and value to others, and then there's people that feast on the products, value, and goods and services of others. So we could pretty much figure out where bureaucrats fit in.
I call them losers and looters.
Losers and looters.
They're the word. So here's a question I got for you, Ninja. So back in the day, you're in Chicago, you're South Africa, you're playing flanker, like you're drinking beer. Where did this alternative thinking come from? Because I'll tell you where my alternative mindset came from, but I want to hear your story first.
Yeah.
Question you ask, I can go Facebook Live. It's fine.
Yeah. So the alternative thinking.
He's thinking.
Imagine him scoring the touchdown, whatever the touchdown in rugby is called.
The try.
What's a touchdown in rugby called?
It's called a try.
The what?
A try.
Yeah, he hits a try. He's like, "What's up, bitches?"
Yeah, I think.
So where did this alternative mindset come from?
Yeah, I think for me, growing up in South Africa, had a huge impact on that. I mean, it was a pretty turbulent time in the country's history at that stage. So I was, it was like 91, Nelson Mandela was released. So growing up in an apartheid state, kind of a dictatorship in South Africa. And then when Nelson Mandela was released in 91, became the first democratically elected president. So there was a lot of different things going on. And it was at a very young age that, I kind of like, I always knew there was something wrong. And, my parents are very well traveled and was always, they were always open-minded and could see what was happening in the country at that stage was very, very wrong and immoral. So that had an impact on it, to looking at it at a different view, but definitely seeing everything firsthand. That basically everything that you were told in your entire life was a complete lie. And then it flipped like that. I mean, literally, if you think about it, even the history books in the schools changed. It was incredible. It was like the one thing you learn up into a point history, and this is what happened in this country. And then all of a sudden, like that, within 4 years, everything changed. And now there's a new take on things. And well, that didn't really happen this way or that way. And this is actually really what happened. So, I mean, that kind of change, rapid change, really had an impact on me from a financial side too. South Africa is a little bit different. I'm not quite sure exactly what it is right now, but growing up in the banking sphere, right, in the financial industry, we don't have something like the FDIC, or at that point when I was younger. And I remember my grandparents had their money in a bank, and then the one day too, they just got informed and said basically a large part of their savings was gone because the bank just went under. So there wasn't something like an FDIC saying, hey, oops, the bank went under, or we're going to bail it out. Or it's kind of like, well, you had your money in the wrong bank. You shouldn't have had it there, basically. So that kind of stuff really impacted the way that I think and that I look at things, and always try and figure out all sides of the story and what is really going on, because there's so many different sides of it, and then just try to critically think for myself.
How old were you when Mandela got released?
91. So what was I, 12 years old? Yeah, I was 12 years old. And then I remember I was in high school when we had the first election. So that was like 94. So yeah, well, actually 11. I think it was 11. 11 and 91. So 94, I was in high school.
But obviously, Africa didn't come out with your type of mindset, right?
I'm sorry.
Not everybody was like.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, is our bandwidth breaking up?
No. It was just cutting up there for a second. No. Obviously, yeah. I mean, I would say that there was a lot of people that was shocked, and there was a lot of people that might have had a mindset shift, but yeah, not the majority. I mean, it's like that everywhere, right? It's regardless of which country you're going to, there's going to be a smaller group, maybe the Pareto's principle, 80-20, maybe 20% are figuring out and are kind of appalled of what they're seeing and thinking about what happened. And the rest of the 80% are just, going on with their lives, just trying to survive or trying to go on and not really think about it too much. I kind of think, regardless of what country you're in too, there's obviously there's poverty and people trying to survive. And then there's the middle class, right? That they're just trying to not fall down to the poverty line. So a lot of those folks really don't sit down and think about these things until it really, really hits their pocket and their families.
So was there like a banking crash while your grandparents got screwed, or? Because I don't want you to endorse FDIC because it's.
That's bullshit.
I am not. Yeah. No. I am not endorsing that at all. Actually,
back with the printing press.
Yeah, I've actually made the case too that that's one of the biggest problems that they have in the system over here is the FDIC, because that provides the illusion that your money is safe in a bank, which it isn't at all, especially with the Dodd-Frank Act. So no, and at that stage, it's going to force people to look at what's going on, right? Because if your money is in a bank and it's not guaranteed or there's no safety net, then all of a sudden you're going to have to do this thing of studying and looking what the banks are doing and trying to figure out what's going on, right? So definitely not endorsing that. No, it wasn't a banking crash. It was one specific bank. There was a big, there was a lot of mergers and acquisitions going on. at that time. So that was just one of the banks. But I mean, that's one of the things that you see. And I remember in South Africa too, and this is by no means a blanket statement. There are obviously people that were very concerned of the direction that the country was in and knew things had to change and knew that things were going to change. But the majority of people, again, they always said it'll never happen here. Things are just going to go on. We'll just have our life as is, normal. It's not going to happen here. It's going to stay the same, which you find in every single country, right? It's always that it's not going to happen here crowd. But I think from a young age, when you see that there are changes, rapid changes, very turbulent. I mean, there was a lot of things going on at that stage. We were pretty close to a civil war, really. And to see that firsthand, and then to see a couple of other things in my life, I mean, that had a huge impact of how I view the world, really, and why I ask questions. Why? Why is this? Why does it work this way? Why? And if you keep asking why and why and why over and over, you get to conclusions and maybe some answers that doesn't really sit that well with you.
That's a very fair statement. Well said. I like that. Well, I mean, I have a pretty solid buzz, and maybe we should have the show.
Wrap it up, baby. Wrap it up.
We wrapping it up?
I think it was a good episode.
Yeah, I think that was good shit.
Oh, hey, Joe!
Oh, we got Joe!
Oh, hey, Joe!
MC,
Hey, Joe.
What's up? What's up?
Nice to meet you, Joe.
No.
Joe, hey, Ninja, if you want to be a creative thinker, this guy is incredible. This guy's one of the most incredible thinkers you'll ever meet. What is that,
Awesome.
water?
Well, what's his name?
Guys
MC?
right there, Mr. McCall.
Yeah, just MC.
MC, can you see?
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too.
These guys are crazy, MC. You don't listen to anything they say.
I just stumbled across them on this internet sphere that we're on.
Okay, well, no, they're all good guys. I think I know most of them there. I can't tell, but they usually drink too much, and they get a little crazy.
No, I'm in the right party right now. So Joe, are you in St. Louis as well?
I think you.
Hey, Jimmy, say it again.
Do you have pants on? I feel that you sit by your screen all day without.
Jimmy, I'm a great American, man. I'm wearing shorts.
Good to know. Joe, you got to meet the cash flow ninja. This guy's the man.
These guys met in a chat room. Kind of weird.
Of all places. You never know where you're going to meet in a chat room.
So is this a podcast, a live podcast that you're putting out on Facebook, or what is it?
We're live right now. Share it to everybody. You got a bigger audience than us.
There you go.
I have a lot of things bigger than you, Jimmy.
Joe, that's the beauty of entrepreneur drinks.
I'm Irish, Joe. I got a really tiny dick.
That's right. Joe, what's new with you, man? What's going on? Anything? Any new tricks of the trade? I want to hear a new hack.
Yeah, you know what? I'm releasing this or next week my new automated wholesaling updated course, and I just did a webinar today. It was a lot of fun. Doing another one again tonight, and I was talking about a new lead source that I have. I can get high equity sellers over the age of 55 that own their house free and clear, bought it over 10 years ago with bad credit, and it only cost me 1/4 of 1 cent. I'm gonna drop the mic.
Whoa! All right.
What? Holy shit!
Yeah.
So you want to share a little bit with us, or is this top secret stuff?
Top secret. You got to give me some drinks.
That's all right. That's all right.
You talk about a cash flow
Okay.
ninja. There's one right there.
Well, that's what I've been working on. That's
Joe,
the
you
stuff
also
that I.
do, new podcast, right?
Yeah. So sorry for the delay, but we've got a podcast that I'm doing with a guy named Corey Boatwright, and we've recorded 2 episodes so far, and it's called the Real Estate Tech Show, and we're going to be talking about all things technology. We're just 2 tech nerds that love real estate, and we're going to be talking about that. It's going to be a weekly show, a lot of fun, and hopefully people will like it.
I'm really
that sounds
excited for it.
fantastic.
I'm highly anticipated release and think it's going to help us a lot. So,
Are you going to have us on, Joe?
Yes, of course, but not you, Jimmy. Maybe Bob.
oh,
Dude, I am a lot more entertaining than Bob.
It's a tech show, though.
But yeah, your knowledge of technology is about as big as your pecker.
That's a fair statement.
The delay is so funny because I say it, and then it's like 3 to 5 seconds, and all of a sudden they explode into laughter. It's hilarious.
It is funny. There's a slight delay on my end as well.
That's
Joe,
funny.
how do we get rid of the delay?
Well, we're recording live and broadcasting, and my computer's overloaded with a ton of other shit, so it's probably me.
Yeah.
David's got too many tabs open.
Joe, what do you use for your webinars? What software and program?
I love GoToWebinar. You know,
Okay.
it's not the cheapest, but it's the best by far. It's very reliable. I've tried them all. Webinar Jam, EverWebinar, whatever else there is, but Stealth. But I like GoToWebinar. It has the most controls. It's very reliable, and typically what I do. What about you? Do you do webinars yourself, MC?
I just did one actually today with Jimmy and Bob, and I use Zoom. It worked out okay. I haven't looked at it yet, but I was just wondering because it has some pretty neat features. I record some of my podcasts now with Zoom as well, no longer with Skype and other ones. And the connectivity and the quality of the sound is a lot better than I found with some of the other softwares combined with Skype, for instance.
Yeah. Well,
You guys ever use
David,
to do podcasts?
say it again, David.
Yeah, you can't interrupt.
Are you guys ever using Blue Jeans for podcasts, or is the delay too bad?
We got to talk.
No, I use Blue Jeans.
Ray, you out?
I'm out, baby.
All right, see you, Ray.
I use Blue Jeans once in a while, mainly for broadcasting live to Facebook. But just today I broadcast live to Facebook a case study video that I recorded yesterday. I broadcasted it live today using Wirecast, and I sent it out to Facebook Live, Periscope, and YouTube all at the same time. It was pretty cool. Pretty ninja.
Oh, wow. From what? Yeah, that's a ninja move right there. So this is on Wirecast?
Yeah, Wirecast.
I'll have to check it out. That's, yeah. I mean, if you can send it to all those platforms, that's what I love about software like Meet Edgar and Hootsuite is the same thing, just to send it out simultaneously to all the other different platforms.
Yeah. It's important, and there's a lot of tools. MC, we should talk maybe offline at another time because there's other things that you could use to do webinars, to broadcast live like this. You just got to make sure you have a good solid internet connection, David, and you need to make sure that your resources on your computer aren't overloading everything.
No, definitely.
and MC, you guys should really talk, because what Joe does in the real estate thing, if you did in the financial planning, MC, you would explode.
No, I'm excited. I'm definitely going to learn from Joe. So, heard a lot of good things. So, pretty excited
Right.
to see what you've got cooking, Joe. There you go.
You guys read?
Yeah, I
You got-
actually did. He just launch that? Because I saw he was giving away chapters. I
Got
was
a new
waiting for it
one?
to come out. There you
Yeah,
go.
this is really good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, he's a ninja.
Hey, Joe, tell the audience, if they're still listening into this, what you just threw up there. What is that?
This is a book by Russell Brunson, his newest book called Expert Secrets. And it's the second book. His previous book was called .com Secrets. And this book is all about how to spread the message of your expertise, your knowledge, and help people. But it's just a really good book. If you're interested at all in coaching and doing podcasts, in creating products, teaching people how to do what you do, then this is definitely a must read, and it's really good.
On his
Awesome.
website or Amazon?
It won't be released on Amazon for another couple weeks, but you can get it
Okay.
right now at his website. I think you just go to expertsecrets.com.
Hey, Joe, does Russell Brunson own ClickFunnels, or is he a partner
Yes.
on it? I'm confused on his
I think he's a
stance. with
partner.
this. He's one of the owners of it.
Yeah, he's like the 50% owner, and he's got two or three partners on it that have minority interest, like 25, 30% interest.
Are you guys pretty tight?
We're friends, yeah. I've got his cell phone number. I can call him, text him anytime I want. But I got to be real careful. I don't abuse that friendship.
Can you give him one entrepreneur drinks right now?
No, no, that would be embarrassing.
Managers in there.
Hey, Joe, are you guys like tight? Like you sat in a steam room together in towels? Like that kind of tight?
Oh man.
No, we're not.
Okay, so you're really not that tight.
No. But hey,
Well, Joe.
listen.
Hey,
I
Joe,
need to
you
get going.
another drink?
No, I need to get going, man. It's
Joe,
almost
thanks
6
for
o'clock.
coming,
We're
dude.
gonna wrap up right as you came in.
Yeah, we were
All right.
wrapping up right as you came in. We extended the show another 10 minutes.
Thanks, Joe.
Well,
We'll
it's
see you
an
guys.
honor.
Later,
It's an
guys.
honor and a privilege to know you guys. You're all great Americans.
So can get on the
Nice to
entrepreneur
meet you,
drink.
Joe.
Tell you that much.
All right, MC. See you later, man. Take care. Bye.
Nice to meet you.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Entrepreneur Drinks podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. We would also appreciate if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thanks for your support, and we hope that you learned something, had a few laughs, or at very least was entertained by our shenanigans. We had fun, and we hope you did too. Until next time, cheers.